Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. The fruit of the sun god Nika is extremely powerful, and could possibly be the most powerful fruit and the greatest among all the other devil fruits. Now, because devil fruits have at least been alleged to be born from the desires of living beings who seek freedom and even happiness, this could mean that this fruit is the first fruit to have ever existed, being the primordial devil fruit. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the Hito no Mi model Nika, also known by other races as the fruit of the sun god, being the most enigmatic fruit and carries a great deal that has yet to be fulfilled. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like and even subscribe and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out and it continues to motivate us to make more content. If you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or another one of your favorites with a friend. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, initially we were introduced to this fruit as the Gomu Gomu no Mi, which is a paramecia type devil fruit and granted the user the body with rubber-like qualities. But even their internal organs and even their clothes managed to acquire this characteristic. However, because of the great power that this fruit carries within it, it had its name changed and was hidden for many years to prevent anyone from ever eating it, since many years ago it caused great problems for the world government. But this fruit was originally known as the Hito no Mi model Nika, and it was classified as a mythical Zoan type fruit that allowed the user to transform into the legendary sun god Nika, giving them incredibly high elasticity, in addition to several other increased attributes, which allowed the user to do whatever they wanted with their body, even transforming into a giant, making the power of this fruit pretty much unlimited, depending only on the creativity and the imagination of its user, so that they could use the full potential of the fruit. Now, the mystery behind this fruit is really only known to the Gorosei, and the true nature of his existence has never been recorded anywhere. So this fruit carries an even greater purpose than we could possibly imagine. The fruit was also a treasure sought after by the world government for over 800 years, until it was stolen by Shanks and his crew well before the opening events of the One Piece story. Now, whether it was due to an oversight or something that was just outright planned by Shanks, a young Luffy accidentally ate the fruit, managing to obtain parts of the fruit's power, managing to use the most basic abilities of this fruit until the moment came when Luffy finally managed to awaken it and was able to use its full potential. With the awakening of the Gomu Gomu no Mi, formerly known as the Hito no Mi model Nika, it granted the user's rubber body greater strength and freedom, allowing them to fight however they wanted. And it's for this reason that the user becomes the warrior of liberation, bringing joy and freedom to all those around him. And this fruit's power is described as the most ridiculous power in the world. While in this state, Luffy's heartbeat takes on a musical rhythm that was described by Zunisha as the drums of liberation, something in which everything around you changes, making all objects and living beings free. This awakening even makes real physics kinda cease to exist, at least while Luffy's in the state, and it allows him to shape the ground in any way he wants, as long as he still has a logic for why he's making the change, such as turning the solid ground into rubber, or even making the people next to him show emotions in a much more exaggerated way. For those who had witnessed Luffy and Kaido's fight on top of Onigashima, it was as if their bodies had become rubber, allowing them to make their eyes bulge out in a real comical way, just like in old cartoons, or even making a huge tongue in moments of panic. So because of the freedom that the user gains and gives to everyone around him, this fruit is considered the fruit of freedom, capable of removing the limitation that its user has, making them a free being who has the responsibility of also giving freedom to everyone around them. And it's for this purpose that the fruit was ever created. A very long time ago, during the Void Century, the world probably wasn't the way that we know it now, and it was likely that many people had had their freedom taken away and was being stolen by nobles and by those who had a lot of control over the world. Somehow, these people's desire to be free spawned potentially the world's first devil fruit, the fruit of the sun god Nika. And this fruit may have fallen into the hands of someone who fought for freedom and who ended up becoming the very first Joy Boy. They became the one who was responsible for changing the world. Through this mystical fruit, Joy Boy nearly managed to complete their goal too, but due to some mishap of fate or potentially something else like a betrayal, he ended up losing his life and left his successor to fulfill his yet unattained goal. The sun god fruit may have even been the first to be created from a possible devil fruit tree, because it's been speculated widely around the community that if these are fruits, they had to come from somewhere, so it might have been a legendary tree in which it can exist both physically and spiritually, causing worldly desires to turn into power. The deepest desire of most any human being, of course, is to be free, not to have any limitations on their life, which means that the desire of all living beings came together in a single spark of flame, forming the first extremely powerful fruit in the world, the fruit of freedom. Now, because there are always those that want to have control over the world, the ancient Gorzei, and even the current ones, wanted to hide this fruit and wanted to prevent living beings from ever being free, obeying only their commands. So in the pursuit of that aim, they tried everything to keep it away from living beings, preventing a new Joy Boy from ever being born. But all their attempts were always unsuccessful, since the being or spirit that lives inside the fruit that seeks freedom just wouldn't allow it to be locked up, much less be in the possession of those who are responsible for taking away people's freedom. So after a very long time, Nika looked for someone who pursued the desire of freedom, someone worthy to fight for the same goals as the very first bearer of the fruit, thus obtaining the title of Joy Boy. So Nika waited until they met a dreamy little boy who longed to go out to sea to get a taste of a pirate's freedom, navigating the world as a free person, acquiring friends in which they would share feelings such as laughter, happiness, and even love with each other, making young Luffy a person worthy of carrying that power. Now, Nika is the name of a mythical warrior who was once revered as the sun god, mostly by those who had or still have their freedom taken away from them since ancient times. Now, we don't know exactly how these names came about, but it's possibly involved with some event in the past that has been erased. According to Dr. Vegapunk, Nika's existence is only recorded in the oldest of texts, having been erased in more modern documents. However, getting a hold of these ancient texts is something very difficult to achieve. These ancient texts were entombed in the poneglyphs, which are scattered all around the world, so the only way they could actually be obtained would be by pirates and sailors or other races that were able to sail across all the seas to get all the clues to even get an answer about Nika's existence. But yet still, there is a place where one might be able to reveal the answer of Nika. However, it's one of the most difficult places to reach. It is the island of Laughtale, the place where the greatest treasure in the world, the One Piece, is currently hidden. On this island, it was said by Roger that there is the answer to everything. Who is Joy Boy, what happened during the Void Century, and even other important events involving the world government and other powerful pirates in the world. But for the Straw Hats, or any other pirate for that matter, to reach the island, it's not going to be that easy, because there are several objects that have to be found, and even then, it still seems like there's something necessary, something that not even Roger could do to get to the great treasure. Now, it's extremely likely that the world government knows about the secret that this fruit has, and it's for that reason it has tried its best to keep the fruit hidden from the world, preventing people from ever being able to obtain the special power of this fruit. This fruit represents one of their greatest fears, because Nika has been worshipped since ancient times by those who had their freedom taken away by powerful people. These people have always believed that they would eventually come to be released from their suffering by this savior and Joy Boy of the world. This means that Luffy will currently be that person, fulfilling what the former Joy Boy wasn't able to do in the past. But before it can be done, Luffy needs to know who Joy Boy is and what this power that he is carrying in his hands. The answer to all these questions and more will most likely come about during the Elbaf arc, the place where the research from the books of the Scholars of Ohara are currently kept, containing the name of the ancient kingdom and also information about the many historical events that happened during the Void Century. So because the archaeologists of Ohara were able to obtain this information through all the different poneglyphs, it means that these books may contain information about Joy Boy and the power of the Sun God. So with Luffy's arrival in Elbaf, he's gonna be able to acquire the knowledge he needs to become definitively Joy Boy. Then, obtaining the knowledge and discovering what his role is now that he's become the bearer of this incredible power, only then will he be able to move forward, not only to conquer the One Piece and the rest of the Grand Line, but finally achieve the goals that were set aside for him by the last Joy Boy. But with all that said, my friends, we'd now love to know what you think about it. Who do you think this original Joy Boy was? Was it Nika, or was it somebody who became Joy Boy and then just came to be called Nika? Next, what do you think the other goals that are left to Luffy might be? I mean, we know that he's gotta free the world and bring down the world government, but what else do you think looms out there in the lore and the history that we don't know about yet? And finally, what else do you think is tied to this mysterious fruit? And could it be the primordial and very first devil fruit. Because like I said before, every human being wishes for freedom, to live their life in whatever way, however they wish. Since this is something that is such a deeply tied thing to our existence, was this the first fruit because we've always dreamed of freedom? Or do you think there's something deeper we just haven't learned about yet? Let us know what you think about all that in the comments below. So as we wrap up our video for the day, we would like to thank you all so much for watching the video, especially those of you who've made it here to the very end. Be sure you comment on any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I hope to see you all in our next video. Let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.